John, you want to come in?
Actually, that's exactly
Come on right next to me. Come down a little bit.
Sorry.
Luigi, you're in there?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Luigi, get him up, get him up.
Beautiful.
That's perfect. Perfect. So we want to talk, because this is an opportunity for us to get together before our event this evening, we really want to speak to the types of things that would be concerning you as leaders. Not only in how you build your businesses, but also we want to be relevant to what's going on, the state of the world as it relates to network marketing right now. And I'm not talking about building in a specific market versus another market, because I'll tell you right now, it doesn't matter what country you go to, everyone is going to raise their hands and say, well, you can't build that where we're from. It doesn't work like that where we're from. Every single country says the same thing. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is more touching on what Luigi was mentioning in his introduction, and that is for the last, let's say, 2016, 17, 18, 19, about 4 years now, we've seen it become easier and easier for individuals or small teams to launch companies. And it's very easy for individuals to launch small companies that have the appearance of large companies. And there's a few reasons for that. Of course, the high-speed internet is really helping to facilitate that, but also payment solutions, cryptocurrency becoming more socially accepted as a legitimate money in, money out solution. And so as that started happening, we've seen more and more, let's just call them schemes and programs and plans, and I don't want to use the word scam and Ponzi right when we're talking about all of these projects, because many of these projects began with honorable intentions. And through poor execution, poor management, a lack of capitalization, it could have been any number of things that caused those projects to fail. Now, I would be fair in assuming that all of us in this room have been in at least one of those projects. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody, right? And some of us have been in 4, 5, 6 of those projects. And regardless of how good you are at analyzing projects, how good you are at doing your due diligence, anybody can be fooled. There's so many of the projects that we're even seeing people that call themselves leaders in network marketing willingly, openly join an obvious scheme, and they're simply marketing to people, well, let's just get in fast and exit fast before a collapse. Those are not leaders in my opinion, because by definition, they're doing exactly the opposite of the definition that Justin just gave as a leader. They're showing no disregard for the damage in the wake of their actions. Doesn't matter who gets hurt, as long as their teams get in and their teams get out before the project falls over. Okay, that's not business. That's not business. It's gambling at the very best, and much worse than that at the worst, okay? So what I want to talk about is the fact that your market, just like every other market that we've been to, is reeling from the damage that's been caused for the past 4 years. So there are people that are very gun shy now to get involved in anything, because they're realizing that they probably don't know how to separate one from another. And if they don't know, the optics in many cases are, for them, every single project looks the same. Okay? So what happens often is when we go into meetings full of steam, we can look as though we're just hardline selling, is what can often be the appearance, and that can really cause a recoil from individuals. But more importantly, for all of us probably, it makes us feel really strange. And so many of us are even reluctant to go into presentations with that kind of enthusiasm that we would have been openly willing to go into 4 years ago. So we've even modified our behaviors because of the damage that's been caused over the last 4 years. So let's talk about these things right now, because ultimately, what was driving the behavior of individuals getting involved in home-based business? What was at the core of that action, that step that those people were taking? The concerns or the needs that they had that were pushing them into something, they still have those needs. That's really important. So the people that, in fact, I would probably dare to say that the world today is even a little bit more difficult, a little bit more expensive than it was 4 years ago. And so, at least in my observations, I'm seeing more people have legitimate financial needs, and I don't think that that's going to get any easier for people in general. I don't think that that's going to go away anytime soon. And so the solutions that we have are viable solutions for anybody and for everybody. We talk about this in the presentation today when we get into why Forex, your guests that are here, and you'll hear us get into some specifics about why we've attached ourselves to the global Forex market and not cryptocurrency trading, or not arbitrage, or not some other crypto-based trading program or platform, because we just don't believe they scale. And so when you're looking to build a legacy platform, a legacy company, you need to make sure that that project can financially scale to take on tens of thousands and beyond members, and that you can continue to manage and make trading gains for numbers that large. And I personally, it's just my opinion, I don't think you can do that in cryptocurrency trading. I think the market cap is far too low, and a collapse in platforms like that are inevitable. Which is why I said earlier, I don't want to pass a judgmental or accusational eye at all platforms. Many of them just didn't realize, I think, some of the limitations to those types of spheres of trading when they first got into things. Most of you know, I've been on a corporate team for 2 other Forex-based platforms as well. And even in those cases, I witnessed what I would consider very capable, very competent, very successful professionals still underestimate how difficult it is to scale Forex. So for example, their accounts that they were trading for, their membership, were set up like a retail trader's account. And so they hadn't even had the conversations with their brokers to be able to trade in the tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And when we inquire as to why those conversations hadn't happened yet, their answer in both cases was, well, we'll scale as our membership grows. But that's not how you run a company. You begin with the end in mind, and if you plan on succeeding, you have to start planning from the very beginning to succeed, because there's this endless line of companies that manage to accomplish something that's very rare, and that is to be successful, only to have planned properly and mismanage their growth and then collapse under their own weight. Mm-hmm. And when you think about how difficult it is to launch a successful company, I mean, we know the statistics for retail. They're no different in the US and Canada than there are in Europe. 85% of retail businesses fail in their first 5 years. Right? And then of the remaining 15%, and 85% of those are going to fail in the next 5 years. So if you've managed to work your way into the 15% by either picking a great environment or bringing up right staff or being well capitalized, or all those things that have to happen to be in the 15%, but you haven't planned properly enough to last long term, that's on you. So one of the things that we can tell you, first of all, from our experience with Waskar and the executive team, these guys are extremely detailed. Yeah. And almost to the point of, you think of Waskar a little bit controlling, yeah. But it's only because his vision is so precise that in the beginning, when you're launching a program and you have so much of yourself invested in that program, as you're starting to surround yourself with your executive team that you want, in the early stages, it's a little bit challenging, it's scary to let go of some control and leave that in the hands of other people. Especially when you're spending the kind of money that he's spent. Yeah. So fortunately for all of us, these guys are extremely well capitalized. And I think that you need to be capitalized. Business is expensive. And if you think that you're going to launch a company over the first 24 months and not make mistakes, you're an idiot. And if you think those mistakes are not going to cost you anything, you're really an idiot. So you have to be well capitalized to be able to survive those first 24 months, especially when you're talking the kind of scale that these guys are talking. If we wrote a list of the kind of things that money's being spent on right now behind the scenes that we don't even think of,
Right.
the length of that list would probably floor you. And the amount of money, we call it the burn rate, is just staggering. And so we're very, very fortunate that we have individuals that have the vision to see all the way to the end. In conversations we've had, there's plans that are being made that will not be executed for 36 and 48 months from now.
Yep.
So they're looking way down into the future, but they have the resources to structure and set this thing up properly today. That's really important. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the company and the things that they have going for them when everybody's here this evening. We want to talk a little bit about some add-on value for you specifically now. And then we're going to open this up to a Q&A where you'll be able to ask absolutely anything you want to ask, okay?
Yeah.
So I'd like to chat specifically about how we can build a business in a marketplace that's really freaked out right now. How can we possibly build a business? Because there's only two options as I see them. One is do absolutely nothing, right? Absolutely nothing and hope for the best. Or the other is simply to modify approach based on the temperature of the marketplace and then continue to move forward. Very simple, okay? So doing nothing is not an option. And when we articulate that, and we're speaking to other individuals, I'm sure that they would all agree that doing nothing is probably not a viable solution for them either. When we hear the statistics of the amount of money that the average family has set aside as a reserve and what kind of a catastrophe they could handle as a family without really getting themselves into trouble, it's alarmingly low. And most people are aware of it, but if you ask them about things like retirement, how they're set up for retirement, that probably starts to touch a bit of a nerve. If you ask, let's say, the average 45-year-old, 45-year-olds still consider 45 years ago, or 45 years old is long gone for me. And I consider 45 really young. I still feel like I'm 25, although I'm twice that. And so if you ask the average 45-year-old how much money they have set aside for the retirement, does anyone want to guess how much the average 45-year-old would probably have set aside right now?
Maybe $5,000. I mean, honestly, let's be honest.
Let's
Most people can't survive past a month if they lost their job today.
Let's hear some numbers. What do you guys think the average 45-year-old would have set aside for savings?
None.
It's crazy. And you know the statistics, right? There's scales, calculators you can find online. At 45 years old, you should have a couple $100,000 set aside.
Easily.
That blows me away. And things are not getting easier. They're only going to get harder. So when we have really frank conversations, basically what I'm getting at, in my opinion, the best way to build in a nervous market is to just ask engaging questions. Ask intelligent questions. Don't ask a lot of them, and then shut up and listen for an answer. Okay? A lot of times we forget that part. We forget to be quiet and listen for the answer. We ask the question and then we just keep right on talking. So this is really basic network marketing 101, but you'll be able to build, and the reason this has to be basic, I'm a huge fan of systems, and I know that these guys are as well, and I'm sure that many of you are as well, especially if you've got a few runs on the board as far as network marketing goes. And the reason is, you cannot build a large business if you're not systems oriented. Now, one of the beautiful things about a system, though, is that the simpler your system is, the easier it is to learn and teach. The simpler your system is, the easier it is to learn and teach. And so by developing a simple system and teaching it to just a handful of people, but then this last critical step, making sure that they take action. Apologies. A real estate agent in front just sold the property for me.
There you go.
Now he's trying to get me to sign something, but I
Call
just,
that multiple streams of income.
I just don't care.
Risk management.
We'll just all ignore it. So, simple systems are really very, very enthusiastic about the sale. We know he's only interested in commission, right?
Yeah.
Give another 30 seconds.
It's all good. It's all good. This is real life stuff.
Make money in your sleep.
Okay, so I'm pouring this like I'm pouring vodka. I've already that's only
Little
for 2 days in Poland. Only 2 days in Poland, I started behaving like that. So here's where the real magic is. It's absolutely critical. You have a very simple system. We're going to talk about simple systems. You have a simple system that's easy to teach to others. And believe it or not, we'll show you something that's even easy for them to implement. But where most people really drop the ball before duplication can explode is it's making those people that they share with take the actions that they said they were going to take. It's making it. So you can hope that your business duplicates, or you can force your business to duplicate. And both of them take about the same amount of effort. So when I was first getting involved in network marketing, I was just a young kid. These were the kind of things that I thought about. And I obsessed over them because I hated work. I hated work with such a passion. I have to be, if not the laziest person that any of you know, really damn close to it. There's so many things that I would do over work, and I'll avoid work at any cost. And so I find myself often working just in small I split my time up, and I'll bust my ass for short periods of time just so I can chill out and do absolutely nothing. I love doing nothing. And so I broke my business up into these little 90-day chunks where I would kill myself for 90 days and then just sit back and chill for a while and analyze what was working and what didn't work, and then I would dive into, and I really like working that way. Some of you are far more diligent and you'll be way more consistent than I was, and you'll have a big advantage over me. But even doing things my way, that approach, it ended up making me millions of dollars in the first project I was a part of, and that project still pays me. I stopped building that 18, 19 years ago, and they still send me checks for 5 figures a month every month. And this was the approach that I took. So it was really about systemizing everything that I did so that everyone that I started working with, we could all move forward in unison. And Justin's actually going to talk about a tool that we're going to be able to wrap around right at the core of a really simple system that is going to absolutely blow you away. And we're going to do that towards the tail end of this evening, okay? We're pushing that back to this evening so everybody can see, guests included. So anyway, when it comes to this stuff, so if I was speaking to a friend, for example, I would ask them how they're, I don't mind asking how they're set up for retirement, or I would ask them if they're interested in doing anything at all. And if they came over the top about some sort of scheme or nonsense or whatever, I would just come right back at them. I said, well, what is your alternative? What's your alternative? Are you going to do nothing and just kind of hope for the best? You're just going to keep working into, what is it now? I mean, we're pushing the mandatory retirement age back in countries all around the world, 3 and 4 or 5 years at a time. So let's chat a little bit more about this. So here is a solution. It's not the solution, it's a solution. $300 contracts are so low that anybody can take action on a $300 contract. And I want to show you something just using $300 contracts alone. And I'm not saying only use $300 trade contracts. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if you only use $300 trade contracts, let's have a look at some of the damage that we can cause by doing so. So this is about not only bringing people into a project. We talk about risking capital, right? Remember, we're not making investments in CFX, right? Because we're not brokers. We don't have financial licenses. It's exactly the same reason why We're not earning profits off someone else's trade contract. We would need to be licensed in order to make money like that, okay? Very important. So when our friends purchase a $300 contract, if I have a friend that is going to work on this with me, they're not allowed to just purchase a $300 contract. This is, you're only allowed to take this particular course of action if you do two things. One of them has to be a $300 contract, and number two, you have to select, I don't say find, because of their entire database of people that are close to them, selecting 3 people that they can coach and I'll coach with them to create some success and freedom for themselves based on $300 is a privilege.
That's right.
You have to select 3 people that you're going to work with, you're going to take along with you on this journey, okay? You have to do it, it's not an option. And if you're not going to do that, then we're not going to work together on this. So I'm bringing the entry point so low that it's no longer a barrier for anybody. It's not a barrier in the Philippines or Indonesia or Africa. It's certainly not a barrier here,
No.
okay? But the caveat is you must select 3 friends that are going to come on the journey with you. And if they give you any resistance, you just have a proper heart-to-heart conversation about what other alternatives do they have. I'm going to show you a model, 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week, that's all. Because most of it we're going to leave up to automation. The worst case scenario, now this is me talking to my friend, the worst case scenario is you're going to make a little bit of money and you're going to become a little bit more tech savvy. That's the worst case scenario. Can you handle that? That's it. So we just need to, a lot of us are scared to pick up the telephones. We use social media and we type messages to people and we send emails to people. But you really need to in these cases, you got to push through that and you got to start picking up the telephone again, just like you did when you were building your Amway business. Okay? The message is very different. The list of responsibilities now is so much easier than it was back then that there's no reason to feel awkward about picking up the telephone. So what we're going to do, $300 contract, 3 friends that are going to join us on the journey, and then we're going to manage that. This is not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. We're going to manage this for 6 generations of growth. You're not going to be able to manage all of it because that's going to kind of grow a little beyond your ability to control. I'm going to shut this right off, sorry, because he's going to call back. Okay. All right. So, first of all, opening conversation openers. Now, I know that. See, I would have no problem asking any of my friends how they're set up for retirement. But culturally, sometimes there are some cultures that are a little bit less willing to ask really invasive questions. Here, would many of you feel strange asking your friends how they're set up for retirement?
No.
You would be okay with it?
Yes, I would.
If it was coming across as an honest question. And one of the reasons that we ask a question and then we be quiet is because you know when someone's pitching you? When they're pitching you, the only thing they care about is them pitching you.
That's right.
That's all they care about. It's not personal. It's not about you. It's not about the relationship between you. It's a pitch. But when you ask an intelligent question and you genuinely care about the answer, and then you be quiet and let them answer, that doesn't feel like a pitch because it's not a pitch. So that's just the approach that I would encourage you to take. It's really about honestly caring about the person you're talking to and also caring about the response.
And I'll add, one of the hard parts for a group like us, network marketers, who like to talk, is asking the question and then shutting up.
Yeah.
We usually ask 3 questions. And then you confuse your prospect, and a confused mind always says no, right? And so if you ask that one question and you literally just stop talking, you put them in a position to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Your enthusiasm is actually a liability.
That's right.
It's not a strength. We know you're enthusiastic. You're going to make millions of dollars probably from CFX. There's no reason for you to not to be enthusiastic. You don't have to be over the top enthusiastic when you're asking these questions to your friends. And I know that you're not, but I just wanted to remind you because it's important. So I could ask I could ask any one of my friends, hey, listen, have you ever considered making money in the Forex market? Ever considered it? I just wait for the answer. I'm going to get, well, what's the Forex market?
Yeah.
What other answers might I get?
I've tried.
I've
Maybe
tried.
I've tried.
I've tried would be a great answer. Anything else you can think of?
We've never touched that because it's too dangerous.
Maybe,
It's
yeah.
awfully dangerous.
Objection.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Well, let's work with those three.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's deal with those three because those three more or less handle a variety of responses that we're going to get. So if I got, first of all, I've tried. I love I've tried. So that leads me to the next section. What did you try to do? And so you're just going to create this really honest dialogue back and forth. So it's ask a question and then be quiet. And ask a question and be quiet. And Justin's going to tell me what he attempted. And he may tell me why it didn't work, or I may have to ask him why he thinks it didn't work. And then if it had anything to do with, well, it turned out being a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. And that could very well be the case. There was these things I needed to download and MetaTrader I needed to learn. You say, well, what if I could show you a way to profit in Forex, but the platform that I'm using has now become fully automated. New tech has made it fully automated, so I don't have to do any of the things that you just listed.
Right.
Would you be curious? I don't ask if they'd be interested. I ask if they'd be curious. All I need is curiosity. Right? Remember what happens when we walk into the clothing store and the lady immediately asks us if she can help us? What do we say? No thanks. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Why do we say no thank you automatically when her help would probably be of value? Why do we say no thank you automatically? We just want space.
Yeah, we don't want to be sold, but listen, fact of the matter is everybody wants to spend money, they just don't want to be sold. Simple. People love to spend their money on stuff, they just don't want you selling them a product. So, like John was saying, I think another challenge for us is we immediately get in, we may have 6 or 7 qualifying questions that we want to ask, and the first question gives us such a positive response, we automatically start selling the benefits of the program versus still trying to identify what the situation and the problem is. We fast forward to the close. And it took me years to be able to control that because of the enthusiasm and that sort of stuff. But it's right now you're just asking a friend some honest questions to find out what's their situation. What have they done to prepare for the future?
Yeah, find out their needs,
That's
also,
right.
Different factors of life, not
That's
only
right.
financially, but also other needs, And if you touch their needs, they will start talking. And then you can guide it to the...
Yep.
To the solution.
Absolutely. So I always ask when I say, if I could show you, would you be curious? That's why I always use the word curious.
Yeah, if
just
I
don't
would
want,
you.
I don't want to
If
feel
I
like
would
I'm,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to come over the top. That's all. Right. Now, if I'm speaking to someone like Yanni just mentioned, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. It's far too dangerous. I need to find out why she thinks it's
That's
dangerous.
right.
What misinformation has she received? Right. And if it's because the last platform she used required her to be a trader, well, you're damn right. It is dangerous because 85% of retail traders lose all of their money in their first year of trading. Give some thought to the magnitude of that. There's about 90 million. What's the population of the Netherlands? Around 33 or so?
17 million.
17 million. So imagine the population of the Netherlands multiplied by what, 6? Every year that many people lose all the money that's in their Forex account. Every year. And 40% of those people lose all that money in their first month. So no wonder she thinks it's dangerous. I need to find out what experience that she had, and so that I can offer a solution for her. Okay, that's it.
Most of the time it would be that person lost.
That's
tried.
of course that's what it is.
They
And there
tried.
was venom in your voice, right? So there's some emotion there.
Yeah.
Plus, like we mentioned when we are presenting the cash price presentation,
Yeah.
you have to pay a monthly fee,
Right.
which is high when you
Illegal, so continue, right? So is that one of those pyramid schemes? Joe, those are illegal. That's my response. And then I shut up and they're like, okay, talk to me.
This is another great response. Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, the bottom line ultimately though is you absolutely don't want to come across over the top and start fighting with someone.
No emotion.
Yeah, that's really the key. You through this entire process, as you're learning all of this, one of the things that you want to do is always make sure that you're emotionally detached from the outcome. Okay? Always emotionally detached from the outcome. Okay? Whether someone gets involved and decides to work with you or not work with you, it's absolutely cool. It's no problem at all. And you have to mean it. Because this whole process then, working yourself up towards your 100K contract, working yourself up towards the President Club and Ambassadors is going to be nothing but joy. Okay, there'll be no tension or anxiety because you're not pissed that that guy over there you thought for sure was going to join, decided not to. It doesn't matter. It's all water off a duck's back, okay? When you start to systemize things, you're going to start to see your business grow at an accelerated pace. So 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people not getting involved, it literally matters zero. It doesn't matter at all, okay? All right, so some of the things that we can do then when we're having these very open and honest dialogues. We can talk about, would you be interested, would you be open, if in Annie's case, had a horrible experience, well, would you be open or would you be curious to looking at a platform if all of those obstacles that helped contribute to your failure were no longer your responsibility?
Yep.
And these guys already had an 8-month track record of success. And if you could simply download something on your phone to have a look at your results once or twice a week. That's all you need to do. Would you be open or would you be curious?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll rephrase that even just a little bit as well. I always ask a prospect, if I answer all of your questions today and get you comfortable with this project, are you ready to move forward?
That's a really good one. Yeah.
That's it. You know, you're not wasting your time. If I were able to answer all of your questions today and get you to a point where you feel comfortable about this project, can you get started today? Now you automatically know you're going to be able to answer their questions. This way you also know where are they temperature-wise? Buying. Are they interested in actually spending some money today? Because now they know if you handle all their questions, you're going to expect them to get started. So
There's something else that's going to be happening in their head as well, though. They may not have gone to the dealership prepared to buy a car. But when they get hit with that, all of a sudden there's something just opened up inside their head where they're open to the possibility of.
that's right.
They're open to the possibility of joining you on this.
It's a buying question.
Okay, so let's wrap this up and then we'll do a few questions. Okay, so this idea of some very basic exponential growth. Remember what it is, someone getting involved with you at a very small contract. Now they can move up to larger contracts anytime they want to, but you want them to start small because this is going to facilitate them bringing 3 friends with them.
Yep.
Which is going to facilitate them bringing 3 friends with them. I would much rather have someone join my team at $300 and follow this path than someone join my team at 100K.
Or not join at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that right away opens a lot more doors. And when you accept that even somebody can start as small as $300, and we've seen so many in the organization in the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, start at 300, and right now they're purchasing $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000 packages.
It makes it affordable.
And it makes it affordable for everybody to get started.
We've seen a ton of it.
A lot of it.
And your typical network marketer, when you get a call and they have packages, which package do they usually recommend for you? The smallest or the largest? The largest. Every time. Go in for the big box. You get double the products. And so they're hit with this different kind of approach. Like, why is this guy not telling me I need to start with 10 grand? In fact, I tell people, start with the 300. And within a week, they're calling you and they're saying, how do I upgrade?
Yeah, because they put their toe in it and they see how it works, and after a week or two, then they feel comfortable about upgrading by themselves, even
That's
without you
right.
asking them.
And so it's a different approach than just going in for this big purchase. It's, listen, we start for 300, and I really like the terminology. And the words that come out of your mouth are so important. I mean, if you put yourself in the prospect's shoes, most prospects listen to everything you're saying. They listen. And so when you talk about select 3 friends, there's a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for?
It would be a privilege.
A privilege. It's a privilege. I want you to go and select 3 of your friends that you want to take along for this journey with you. And now you've put them in the position where they're like, huh, I get to choose who comes. Just these little things will help you close more deals. Guaranteed if you implement what we're teaching today. Guaranteed.
But also the simple language
Yeah.
enables them to do exactly the same thing that afternoon.
Duplication.
They can say to their friends, listen, I only want you to start with $300. I don't even want you to start larger than that. And there's a reason. Because there's so much nonsense that's going on right now. I want you to be able to see this thing from the inside out and learn what I've now learned. And most importantly though, we're going to select 3 friends of yours, just like you're one of mine, and we're all going to go on this trip together. So we're going to keep the cost really low, so it's not a barrier for anybody. So you just really calm and slow and check out some of this. I ran some numbers only based on the matrix, because we know the matrix is our slowest paying bonus. It takes a while for the matrix, but I'll tell you this. When you start having a business that's growing by $300 contracts in multiples of 3, it's literally a week, then the first people are already upgrading to $500 contracts.
Yep.
And then a couple
Which
weeks,
means they're doing what? Withdrawing, which means you're getting what? Bid. Yep.
the whole thing just starts to avalanche. It's really quite a, you know, when Waskar says they were designing the math around this for 8 months before even considering any kind of pre-launch.
Yep.
8 months just on paper.
That story he told at the launch about how one of Edwin's friends called and said, "Hey, can I get in? Can I get in?" He said, "We're working on the compensation plan." And the guy called him a couple times, and a month later, he said, "Well, where are you at?" He goes, "Well, we just finished the first bonus. We've got 5 more to go."
This is the kind of detail that he puts
Meticulous
into
detail.
this. And by the way, it's the same kind of detail that Edwin's putting into all the trading.
That's right, the software. And you really see Edwin with the infrastructure of the trading. You see Waskar with the infrastructure of the business, and then you see Ron and his team with the infrastructure of the back office. And it really is. It's just never seen anything
A lot of
like
harmony
it before.
there.
The whole thing is meticulous.
And teams of coders in the US and Canada, so they're all in the same time zone as the corporate office. You know how much money they're spending on teams, like 100 coders in the US and Canada. So money is not a factor for
Constantly
these guys.
hiring support agents. They just brought another 6 support agents on. And that's a process too. They've got to train them on the compensation, the business model. Sometimes they've got to train them on network marketing works. I mean, so many different types of crazy and insane questions come in, but constantly building that infrastructure because they know this it's going to mushroom. Like, it's going to get out of control. When I say out of control, I say that in a good way. This room, you guys are founders, visionaries. I mean, you see 22,000, where, you know, that saying on our website, something different, something new, you guys believe that. Everybody's going to see that in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And especially with the new things that we know that are going to be launching in the next 5 to 6 months, it's going to bring this whole company to a whole new level.
Yeah.
But the main thing that I've taken out of it, well, just continue. I want to share some thoughts after. I'll let you continue with your thoughts.
Okay, no problem. So one of the things the reason I mentioned the comp plan and how intelligent the design is that not only, as Andy mentioned, they were able to remove the monthly auto ship requirement. And what did they replace that with? They replaced it with a contract ladder. They gave the members an opportunity to reinvest and to reinvest and to reinvest, but it wasn't just a cost to the member like an auto ship is. It was an opportunity for them to upgrade their contract. You know,
when I talk about this contract ladder, I told Justin and Luigi when we were getting ready to go to the Philippines, I said, I'm still really apprehensive. I don't know if the Philippines is going to take to this. Because in markets like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Africa, and a lot of the developing countries, network marketing is like a job. And so when their paychecks come in, they actually pay for gas, they pay for groceries, they pay for a mortgage with the money that's coming in from fast start bonuses. For us, it's usually extra cash, right? And I was wondering, this process where they get paid, but then they got to set 60 or 70% of it aside because they really want to push through those contracts. And honestly, the way they're rallying around this in the Philippines blows my mind, because where I was worried that they would look at it as a cost they couldn't afford, they're looking at this as a 3 or 4 year plan to get to a $100,000 contract.
Yep.
And not only be able to retire themselves, but retire half the bloody neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it's happening right now in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Philippines,
Pakistan, I mean,
Syria.
places in the world where
Never thought.
Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
the economic situation in Zimbabwe is miserable, and the team is growing and taking the plan. Yeah.
Mhm. So because all of the markets are rallying around moving up the trade contract ladder, not only are you being paid over and over and over from the same genealogy, but the amount that you're getting paid is on this trajectory. Because all of them want to move to $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 contracts, and they're all determined to get there. It is such a powerful model. So let's run through a little bit of this, okay?
Yeah.
So remember we talked about the hardest thing. We're talking about 7 generations. If you saw the diagram that I just had up here, I chopped this off at 7 gen, okay? 7 gen is hard. 7 gen is hard to manage. It's hard to keep track of. But if you can build out the first 3 really well, then you've taught these people that you brought on your level 1 and your level 2, and they'll follow the lead that you're setting. So remember, I'm selecting 3 friends that I'm going to work closely with, but they have to do the same. It's not an option. So when I put 1, 2, and 3 in, all I'm watching is level 2 to make sure level 2 fills up. And they have to do it. They have no choice. Okay? They know the language. It's very easy. The system is very simple. And so I support them in whatever way I need to. And remember, if this person here, the 3rd person, is having a really tough time bringing 3 friends in, they managed to bring 1 in, and so I have to go hold their hand to bring the other 2 in. Remember, those 2 people are getting the same message. We're only going to bring you in with us if you start small initially. We want this to be stress-free for you, but you have to bring 3 friends in. I know they're getting the message because I'm with this person here delivering it. And so then this row will fill up. So that's the focus. You're going to fill up 3 rows 2 times because you're doing the first one. That's going to give you that 6 generations of exponential growth. All right? I want to show you what happens though. And this is only based on a $1,000 withdrawal. How many of you have done a $1,000 withdrawal so far? I think probably all of you have. I mean, some of us are doing $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 withdrawals now. A $1,000 withdrawal comes really fast in this project. And so for this whole genealogy to be doing one $1,000 withdrawal in a month, if this is growing just by $300 contracts exponentially, every single person in there will be at a $1,000 withdrawal minimum per month within 4 weeks, like that fast. Okay, some of them it may take 8 weeks, but it's going to happen really quickly. So let's take a look at what a $1,000 withdrawal is. Remember, we've got a 20% withdrawal fee, correct? And half of that withdrawal fee goes to this matrix. So that's $100 on 1,000 that's earmarked for this bonus. So if that's the case,
And level 1 is a 3%. That means of that $100, you made $3 for each person in your level 1. That's why it says $9 there. $3 per person, okay? So when you're level 2, same thing applies. You're making $3 times 9 people in there. So you're not breaking the bank yet, are you? Okay? You're not changing your life yet,
Not yet.
but you're on the way. Yeah, so this is $243 for your level 3. Your level 4 is up to 405, and this is a 6% level, so it took a bit of a jump up. 243 people, 6% on $100 is $6 per person. So you made $6 times 243 people. Now this is a monthly income. So even after just these, this 5 generations of growth, you're about $2,250. But then you take a sharp jump up in level 6.
Is it allowed to make a picture?
You do whatever you want, absolutely. This is all compliant.
No, you don't have to write it. The picture is a little bit.
There you go. There's your last, that's generation 7, and you still have 8, 9, and 10 to go. Here, I'll hit forward one more time for you. Because this is your monthly earnings. That's your monthly earnings from our smallest bonus.
And I like that concept because, you know, like sometimes when we all understand that in the comp plan you're getting a fast start bonus. We all understand that 15% is the fast start, 15% goes into the uni level, perfect. But when we talk about the 20% withdrawal fee, we never realize how much of it is going back there into a monthly payout. And that's why Justin often said to me, he says, that's like, instead of having to pay a monthly auto ship like many companies are doing, you're not doing it like on a monthly auto ship. You're doing it when you withdraw your money, and on top of that, half of that is coming back on this comp plan. And when you look at it, at the numbers, and if you just concentrate that each person, you're not asking them to come in with $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. For some people, please, for some, you talk to some people, $5,000 is like $300 for another person, okay? So, but at least it's not like an obligation. Now, if everybody has to come in with 3 people get $300, these are the kind of numbers that you're looking
realistic.
for. It's realistic, you know? So,
And it's duplicatable.
That's big money.
That's big money.
It's $800,000 a year. It's more than that. That's
And the best part is it's realistic. It's realistic. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Is it going to take you to roll up your sleeves and work? Yeah. Is it going to require some level of consistency? Absolutely. But it is 100% achievable.
This was a 6-month model, remember? 1 month per generation. Because all that's happening is someone's bringing 3 friends in. So the same thing that happened in level 1 and 2 is what happened in level 6 and 7. Exactly the same thing. So 1 month per will get you there. And the best part is, every single person in there wants to be in there. You're not forcing anyone to do anything. All you're doing is asking intelligent questions, slowing down, making sure you pick up the phone and don't be nervous and send a text message instead. And ask a couple smart questions, and then remember to breathe and listen for the answers. That's all. And I guarantee you, you'll be able to do this. Yeah?
I can imagine that they're gonna ask about why should I bring in 3 friends because I want to step in. Now I have a kind of obligation to bring in 3. Why should I bring in 3 friends?
I would say if you want to work with me and you want me to help you really create some freedom, then you do have an obligation, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, you're selecting that person.
Yeah.
Just like you're telling them to select, you can say, listen, Joe, I've personally reached out to you. Of all of the friends I have, you're the guy that I'm coming to. And so this is the model that we're going to follow. If this model is not right for you, Joe, I can find somebody else. It's okay to say that.
It's
I can find somebody
absolutely
else.
okay.
Yeah,
And then
that's-
if he
you take it
chooses
away.
not to move forward, remember, emotionally detached from the outcome.
That's right.
Bye, Joe, and no animosity. Not bye, Joe. None of that.
No.
None of that.
for some-
I mean it.
This
some
morning,
folks-
I got someone, a girl from Netherlands, and I didn't contact her for 1 year. And this morning, I did contact her and I said, hello, how are you? You contact me now. I was expecting that you contact me for a long time. You're gonna say to me, you have a business for me? Okay, I follow you. So sometimes you get connected with people like that. And they say yes. You don't have to say nothing because they know.
Hmm.
It's
It's fair.
it's very rare connection, but
Sure.
I got
And where this whole thing really comes to life
Yeah.
is instead of just signing that person up with as big a contract as you can get them to pay for, and then moving on to the next situation, and they're learning the back office and doing whatever they're doing on their own, if you tell them, this is the way this system works, this is what will happen, and this is how I'm going to help you, and you have no choice, you're selecting 3 friends that you want to work with. That's the way it's going to be. Okay.
That's okay. And just to come back to that gentleman, it doesn't mean that somebody who comes up to you and says, listen, I don't want to find some 3 friends, but I just want to, I'm sorry, I just want to play with some Forex. And that's okay too. We're just, what he's saying to you is that if you want to work with people that want to create a monthly residual income, we all need to find 3 people each. Now, if a person in your contacts doesn't want to be in one of those 3, it doesn't mean that you can't work with them. It just means that he's not one of those 3 people that you're counting on to do it, right?
Yeah, you can still sign them.
You can still sign them up because, I mean, we all understand that you can still earn money even if you don't sign nobody up here. You know, this is not the complete comp plan here. This is part of it.
But I enforce the 3, absolutely 100%. And after a little resistance in the beginning, everybody complies.
But does it also matter in which kind of level they are? Because if you already started and you have
Doesn't
already...
matter.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
that's fair.
Doesn't matter if they have no experience. Doesn't matter if they have Tourette's and they swear at people when they talk to them.
No,
Doesn't
no,
none of that matters.
No, not really like that, but on the matrix level.
Yeah.
Because then you start with 3 below you as your up and down line.
Well, you're working with those 3, and then you're helping share. What you're doing basically is you're making yourself unnecessary. You're teaching a simple system that will continue to be taught by others because it's simple.
And I understand his question because I have the same. You have the 3
Yeah.
to complete, but then you find the phone. Then it's a
Oh,
phone.
yeah. So that's a very good question.
Is the question?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Makes sense.
When I'm being really aggressive, sometimes I'll start a project that I'm being really aggressive with the system, and I won't sign a 4th. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I won't do it. And I won't let them either. It's they're bringing on 3, and they're making sure that they get that duplication. I'm sending a message to them that exponential volume is more important than individual signups. That's the message I want to send to them. Now, realistically, of course you're going to let them sign their 4th friend. But you make sure you have a serious conversation, say, if you bring this 4th friend on, that doesn't replace any responsibility for making sure that these 3 duplicate. And the other thing you're not allowed to do is go find 3 people for this guy because he's having a tough time. You're not allowed to do that. Okay?
But it fills up automatically anyways, right?
Sure it
It's a
does.
force
Sure
matrix.
it does.
Yeah, but again, we're not, this is the culture, he's
Yeah,
saying
I
his
understand.
business.
This is very simple, and it's very easy to do, and so there's no reason for it not to be done. And that's how you'll make,
Amidst these people that you're bringing in, you're gonna find somebody like that can just start bringing people into business, and that's great. I mean, that's what we're all looking for, right? We're trying to find somebody that can come in and be a leader, and so we don't want to stop that. But when you build that culture from the beginning, you know everybody's got this responsibility of bringing 3, and then helping those 3 get their 3.
that's it. So the message that you're sending is if you're going to sign 20 people, just make sure you have the time to support all 20 of them to bring their 3 friends in. That's all. The system doesn't break, or the system doesn't get abandoned because you bring 20 people in. Okay, that's all. Okay, so is any question? Yeah.
Yeah, one more question about the matrix. Do you mean that like for every $100 they withdraw, you get like that percentage paid? That's
Correct.
based on the $100,
Correct.
right?
Based on the withdrawal fee.
Yeah, it's based on we used $1,000 withdrawal for round numbers. Remember, that's a $200 fee, and $100
Goes into
Goes
the
in the
matrix, and then it pays the 10 levels. So based on that level, out of that 100, 30% would go to people on level 7, 20%, and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
Yep.
because they don't withdraw all the time, like at the same time.
They don't.
Correct,
So-
but I can tell you what, right now, 90% of the company hits the withdraw button on Saturday at 12:01.
Yeah.
90% of the company right now, so.
Can you elaborate one more time on how that is structured to really understand this matrix?
The math?
Yeah, the math, indeed.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody, like,
No,
everybody
I
understands
agree.
this.
Okay, so very
Because I kind of get it, but not totally.
So there's the numbers there. So you can see that, remember, it's a $100 bill
Yeah.
for every person is getting dropped in there.
Yeah.
So if you take a look and you add all those green numbers, remember it's 10, 10, 10, 10,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think so.
You add all those
It
together,
would be 100.
100%. Right? So anyone who's on your level 3, sorry, levels 1, 2, and 3, they do a $1,000 withdrawal, you make $3.
Yeah. And your back office is real time. I don't know if you all know that, but you can go to finance and you can click on matrix, and at any time you can see up to that moment who's withdrawn, what level they are on, and what your payout is going to be the next time the matrix pays out.
It's all real time.
And what's really great is watching those numbers grow.
Yes.
I mean, your matrix
It's just that
payouts are
every
The matrix
payment they
is
go
growing
on.
since day one, it
Yeah.
just keeps on growing.
So they withdraw $1,000 and then 10% goes to the matrix.
No.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Half the fee, which is 20%, yes.
It's a 100.
You're correct.
10%.
That's
Yeah. 20% is the fee and half the fee goes to the matrix.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
The other 50% goes to the other bonuses.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And that's why, by the way, how many of you have been in a company in the past that has a car program?
An auto program,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and cars,
How-
you want
guys?
cars. Most of them.
How many of you been in a company in the past that's had a car program? There's a lot of companies that have automobile programs. There's a lot of companies that were using automobile programs, but then when you read all the fine print in the plan, you maybe get paid $2,000 a month for 24 months or 36 months, and it takes 3 years for your car, or the car is just a lease. Or one of the reasons that these bonuses there's so much money in this plan. These guys qualified for their car the next month,
100
paid in
grand.
full.
Paid for.
Paid in full.
Whether we stay President's Club or not, we own the car.
Didn't have to keep qualifying. Qualify once, following month, all the money.
Whatever rank you reach, whatever prize you win, you
You
get it
keep the
immediately.
prize. They don't call you back and say, hey, you dropped, can we get some of that money
It's
back?
crazy.
No, when you get it.
The prize is yours.
Because the cash is there.
That's right.
Imagine when we hit the Huracan, $500,000. The next month, your rank drops. Doesn't matter. You were paid the $500,000. So these bonuses are serious. And the best part is how sustainable this entire plan is. That these traders only need to make 10% a month for all of this to move forward healthily forever. And not only that, because of the way the system was designed over the long term, they have a risk management strategy. Because in Forex, anything that can go wrong in business is going to go wrong, right? Everybody's going to get a kick in the ass sometimes. And sometimes there's been ripples in the Forex market where whole brokerages have gone bankrupt. So if you don't have a long-term risk management strategy, your ass is going to get kicked, for sure. And these guys have one. And I've never seen one in a network marketing company before. I've never seen it. The longer the company is around, the less money the traders need to make for all the field to get paid out. I've never ever seen that before.
Yep. I mean, this is a program that could pay out without any issue for 20 years, and they'd never have to sit down and go, man, we better retweak the comp plan.
That's why
And
8 months in design.
8 months. Every company runs into that problem, and most of them stop paying at 6 to 8 months. Not because they're scammed,
No.
because they're just paid out so much money.
Because a lot of those companies, what they do, and I don't know if you want to agree with it, most of those companies, they do their comp plan and they count on signups, because when you start, people join, so they're counting on 30% signups every month,
Right.
That 30% signups is money that they're using to pay out their comp plan and money in advance, that they're using the total amount of your trades. Here in Cash FX, we don't use the total amount of our trades, right? You know how it goes there at the comp plan, everybody here?
So the trading capital is not part of the comp plan.
70% goes into your trade, 30% goes to buy the product, and that's the money that they're using to pay us out. While in all the other companies, they're counting on signups. Now 30% every month, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. After 4, 5, 6, 7 months, you start getting to 26%, 25% new signups.
This upgrade cycle to where they can literally at 50,000 members, if they wanted to, shut the doors and just rely on our trading and the ecosystem progressing through the different contracts.
This is very important. There will be a time that you're participating in this, and the doors will be closed to new members. It'll happen.
And now think about when those doors open again, and you can let your prospects know, hey, we're gonna be open for about 72 hours to get in and get a contract. I mean, there's gonna be a list of people waiting to get in, and they've thought about that too. I mean, this is a 2-year business that they've thought about before they actually launched it. And these are some of the things that we discussed before we got involved. You know, when I went out and met with Waskar in Orlando, when the 3 of us did a 2-hour call with Waskar before we even did the recording call that you guys saw, which was that first look behind the scenes interview. It was how do you plan on executing this for the long term. And like John said, seeing that they're working on things that we probably aren't going to have for 36 to 48 months from now, just shows the corporate mindset, the business mindset that these guys have, that they don't plan on going anywhere.
It's pretty cool. One of those very rare projects. Now, is there any questions at all on the script, the invitation, the questions we talked about?
John, I'm sorry, Justin, I just didn't listen quite correctly when you said there will be a time where Cash Forex will be closed to other members. Why then and how? I'm sorry, I didn't follow you.
You can't trade. Nobody can trade an unlimited amount of money.
Oh.
Brokerages have limits. Banks have limits, right?
So there could be a time when we decide, hey, we're not taking new members right now.
Okay.
But again, we're talking about the ecosystem, how because we have the way the contracts work, people still continue to get those residual bonuses.
And imagine your entire genealogy, eventually, every single one of them are going to be on $100,000 contracts.
We're talking
All
about,
of them.
we're really talking about down the line. At a certain point, no company can take in an infinity of money and trade an infinity. It's not possible mathematically. So here we have a real company that at a certain point, they might close the doors every once in a while to adjust things. But for everybody who's in it and your downlines, and we're not talking about right now, we're talking about like really down the line there, well, we're all going to keep on staying and getting paid. You know, it's just that every once in a while they might close the door.
And they're also working on other products. You know, there's been talks about a crypto product. There, you know, part of Ron Pope's background is futures and different types of trading. So there's probably going to be other products down the line.
We already know one down the line.
So we're gonna move on from this section. The guys are gonna take over. Is there any questions all about that strategy, or the questions, or how one would ask a question?
About the matrix,
Yeah.
To the last level, it says maximum
88,000, yeah.
But you're striving to get 100,000 members in Punta Cana. How is
100,000?
20,000.
Yeah, I thought.
No, no.
Did I misunderstood?
Too much.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
That was, we said, John, because Justin often said we want to have 20,000 members on the power team by Punta Cana. It had nothing to do with Punta Cana. Then.
Oh, okay.
That's just one.
Yeah, that would be great attendance. I can't imagine we're gonna have that attendance for a little while yet.
Because it's no, I mean members, 100,000 members.
Yeah,
in
that
the
would
company.
be, that would be nice. 100,000 in a year. I don't know.
We're gonna get there.
Oh, you-
This calendar year,
but it's
probably
only,
not.
Till 88,000.
Listen, if you start teaching building in multiples of 3 and everyone else does it, then you'll get us there.
That's for sure.
I got maybe a very important question about, I'm searching for top leaders. And maybe there are people here who are interesting to know how do you talk to those people.
No,
No.
no. This is actually deliberately designed so you don't have to talk to those people. Because those people are a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Okay.
Why do we say that? It's just that it seems like sometimes the best leaders you have are the ordinary people that you meet. They become your best leaders.
Well, they become the future leaders.
You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
You create your leaders. It's so fun that you attract who you are. All right. And right now we found, me, Justin, with John, the community of people. Listen, we did live events in South Africa. We did a live event in Poland. We did live events in many places. And every place we went to, we look at each other, me and Justin, and we say, it's fun. Like all the people are friendly, nice. And sometimes these top leaders, they're not fun. They're not nice.
No.
They have this big head.
That's why
and
I asked.
they kind of like. I don't care how much money me and Justin we make. We don't act like those big heads. We try not to. And if we do, we want people to tell us. We don't want to be like
And
that.
This is which is very important in that company, in Cash Effects, because all the team, we can feel the humble people. Well, humble.
The people at the top, you can feel that they care.
You are so close to us. You are not.
I was only joking though. I was only joking. We all of us have friends that have made millions of dollars
Yes.
in network marketing.
Yeah.
And they're not all a pain in the ass. Just
No,
about 90%.
absolutely. No, of course not.
But I mean, it's
The
something
point I was
quite
simply trying to make, Annie and Bruno, was that you want, if you're going to build a system, you want to build a system that anybody can participate in and can be successful in.
That's right.
And there's some wonderful leaders, future leaders, that haven't made $100,000 in network marketing yet. They're going to come out of this market, and you're going to be the ones that find them.
Yeah.
Right now, there's how many people in Cash FX? 14,000, 15,000,
16.
16,000. There's 16,000 people in Cash FX. 16,000. And is that a lot for the world? That's nothing, everybody. I'm sorry, it's nothing. In Netherlands, this is the Netherlands. You understand? Like we're not talking about, like in 6 months or a year from now, we're going to come back, right?
Yeah.
And when we come back next time, all the leaders that are here tonight, even tonight, everybody's going to come back with their team of 50, 70 people, 100 people. We might come back and do an event of 1,000 people, 2,000 people this year. In 2-3 years, because usually the companies, what do? They don't last 2-3 years, right? But the companies that last 2-3 years, 4 years, 5 years, well, they usually have events of 5,000, 6,000 people. And imagine if we ever come to 5,000 people here, where are you guys? All sitting on the front row,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's the purpose.
All right, that's the purpose of this
goal,
meeting here. And that's what me, Justin, and John wanted to share today. So like we said at the very beginning, it's not just about coming here and how many people we're going to have tonight. It's the quality of everybody here to feel that, okay, Justin, Luigi, John, what they're saying, do I believe it? Because when I came, I want you to come here also, because that has a little bit of transparency that I want to share with the team.
No, not bad or good?
Yeah.
We're done with this, so.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you a lot for that, because I think everybody can appreciate I like it because I never really, even personally myself, I never thought about explaining it like that. So it's another nice way of explaining this comp plan and making that matrix sound very attractive. So thank you, John. What I want to talk about a little bit with Justin is, even though we're going to share it tonight, we'll just touch a little bit based on a personal level, so you can feel it. When I was introduced to Cash FX, I could not afford another time bringing all my friends, associates into another bad deal. Because when you do it once, people might listen one time. They might come back. Do it 2 times, it's hard. They don't listen to you. And if you do it 3 times, they laugh at you when you lose. It's not even funny anymore. So we're at this point right now in our lives, me and Justin, where we can't afford it. And we were able to go get everybody one last time. So we wanted to make sure that that last time was the right time. So when we sat down with the owners, and we sat down and we asked them all the questions like, where is our money going? Can we see it? Yes. Who is trading the money? The broker. Who is the broker? EverFX. Can we see them? We met them in Punta Cana, right? Remember
Panama.
Annie in Panama? Oh, who was in Panama here?
Quite a few.
Quite a few, eh? They were all in Panama. So everything I'm saying to you, all these people got to witness it. And that's why Annie, look, Annie is from France. Bruno is from Belgium, right?
Yeah.
And they're here in the Netherlands. So that means that they went to Punta Cana and they believe the same thing as me and Justin in Panama. Sorry, Punta Cana. It's because I have so much Punta Cana in my head. It's okay, it's okay.
Sorry, you're from Canada. we
It's just,
understand.
yeah, I'm Canadian. You know, we have Eskimos down there. So it's just like our friend Bianca and his father, you know, who fell in love with this project, and now they really want to share it with everybody here in the Netherlands. So I want to Justin to share a little bit about the transparency, because one of the reasons that we joined was because of Ron Pope, and I want Justin to share why did you listen to Ron Pope, and why is that little equation with everybody, why is that important? First of all, what's important is the owners. You know, they have money, right? For me, that's important. Do you want to work for a company where the owners don't have money, where they want to become rich? Or do you want to work for people that you know that they have money? I hope you understand working for people that have money is more important, because people that have money know how to keep it, right? People that don't have money and want to make money, I don't know if I would trust them. So that's number one reason why I trusted them. But there's another reason.
Well,
and that's Ron Pope.
John really got into it, and you'll see here in the recording, if you have to go back, John got into it. I mean, there's never been a time in history where it's been easier to start a company, right? Especially an online company. And so most network marketing companies get started with a compensation plan. Some guys that have made a lot of money got together, tweaked the compensation plan, and said, okay, now we have to go find a product and we have to go find a service. And when you look at CashFX and the fact that they have been trading with a lot of the same strategies that they're using now, with a lot of the same algorithms for over 2 years, the relationships between Edwin, Wasgard, John, Hildo, Javiero, those relationships go back, 2+ years. The success in trying and tweaking and making money off of these algorithms, and then saying, you know what, I think we have something special here. Let's look at putting a compensation plan around this. It's just, it's a different approach, and that was part of what we wanted to know. We just decided, is this something that we're gonna promote? But again, for me, it was easy because I've known Ron. I mean, Luigi's known Ron too, but I've known Ron on another level.
I've known him business, you've known him personally.
I've known him personally for 6 years. I mean, we have a really good relationship. I mean, I've met his wife on multiple occasions, his children, and when Ron was basically the first mentor I had in network marketing, and we got involved in a company back in around 2013, and Ron taught me a lot of things that I still use today in network marketing and team building, and how to, the phrase leaders creating leaders. I mean, we started working on that type of a model 7 years ago. And when Ron retired from network marketing, and Ron is not just a network marketer, Ron has built teams of 200,000 plus, global companies, multi-millions of dollars. He's been on the executive side, so he's launched network marketing companies. I mean, My Fun Life ran for 5 years. Travel company. He's been an affiliate, so he's really has seen both sides and has been very, very successful. And when he retired and walked away from network marketing and launched the Conversion Pros, he grandfathered me in. He said, Justin, you're going to have an account for life whether you decide to use it or not. And so we've been using that tool for 5 or 6 years now. And I know Ron works with the top companies, the top earners, creating funnels and systems. Jamie Beck has built compensation plans and back ends for 20 years. Jamie and his team of programmers have created millions of lines of code. And Ron never, not once, called me and said, hey, I've got a great product here that I think you would be able to sell. Or, hey, I came across a compensation plan where you guys will make a lot of money. Now, if he would have called me once or twice over the last 6 or 7 years, when he called me in July, it wouldn't have been as valuable as I felt it was. And when he called me, and again, we speak 3-4 times a month. So it's not like it was 6 months and Ron called and said, hey dude, I've got something you need to look at. We spoke 3 days ago, before he even really knew he had this project as a consultancy. Waskar, Ron is literally so busy, he had to go and purchase a stand-up desk in his office because he's been sitting down for 18 hours a day, and the doctor said you're gonna have back problems, and so the doctor now has him standing at a keyboard for about 6 hours a day and sitting. That's how much he has invested in multiple businesses. And so when Ron called me and he says, you know, I've got something here, Waskar had been trying to get a hold of him for 30 days. Waskar had another programming team work on, like the old website, that wasn't Ron's team. Some of the back office that has been tweaked, that wasn't Ron's team. That company dropped the ball. And Ron finally found time to be able to pick up the phone and say, Waskar, what's up? He said, dude, we need you. And so when Ron initially came on board, he came on board as a consultant only. And then as he started to see what Waskar and Edwin had put together, he started to become very intrigued. And so when he called me and he said, I've got something you guys can do, you know, you and Luigi, I know you're doing real well, but I want you to take a look at something. I really did. I had one question. I said, Ron, did you take a position?
Meaning, are you going to build the business?
Are you
also?
in? Are you an affiliate? He said, I did. I said, we're in. I know what you've done. I know what you can do. I know that you've done your due diligence. We're in.
Not only that, it's somebody who has a business in the U.S.
He's in the U.S. He's a sitting duck.
It's $1 million business, a multi-million-dollar business. Like he would not even go do something that's in any way shady.
He's another guy that doesn't need the money.
He doesn't need the money. So for him to go build CashFX was the #1 reason.
And then
really
to put their name on it, not just Ron, but now the Conversion Pros has an amazing reputation for 6 years. You know, to be able to put that on top of it as the the consulting.
That is one of the biggest pieces here. The other piece was we all met him. Everybody here also, the owners, and these people really know what they're doing. They also have a lot of money, and they've already built big organizations. Like I just found out this week.
Waskar's built teams of over 250,000, so he knows what it
sides.
takes on the network marketing side.
Finally, we spent also a week while we were there with the traders. Now, you know when you spend 1 week with the traders, you know, like, if you're going to be 1 week with the traders, you're going to ask them all sorts of questions. I mean, you guys went out with them, you spent all day. So they got bombarded left and right with questions. If I was the owner and my traders were not real, if they're not really professional, or if it was in any way shady,
would you expose them to that?
Would you put them in front of everybody just so you can bombard them?
No.
Not sure.
And we did.
And you guys did for 1 week. You just hammered these guys, okay?
Yeah.
So,
We hit them.
and then after, okay, the money, who controls our money? Well, I mean, who controls it? Yes, it's CashFX, but I mean, who's trading it? Because you have to be licensed to trade it, right?
Broker.
Well, it's EverFX. Well, we also spent a couple of days with EverFX. They were in Panama. Yeah, I got it right this time, right?
Yes.
So I mean, those are the main. I mean, it's so important because here we're talking about, okay, there's a system, there's a comp plan, it's sustainable. The next thing is we're at a time in our lives right now where this is going to be around for many years. So if you want to build something that you're going to be building and sharing, and everybody you bring in is going to make some serious money. Why? Well, because I mean, it's not with a corporate job that we're going to make a lot of money. I hope you all understand that, unfortunately. It's not by putting our money at the bank that we're going to make a lot of money either. You have to find the right project to do it. But you need a project that's going to be around long enough to do it also, eh? Because me and Justin, in 3 months, we were able to get a Porsche. All right, we became presidents. Some people might take him 6 months. I know, yeah, you said the other day, for some people might take him even less than us.
But here's what I want them to understand. On top of that, we were able to do what we were able to do with nothing. Like, we didn't have live trades. We didn't know who the traders were. They didn't expose them yet. We didn't know who the brokers were.
You know that we have live trades.
We didn't see an office.
Everybody knows that here?
Yeah.
Live trades, you can see it in the back office. You know the money that they're trading for us?
You guys have so much more than what we had when we were out sharing it. But what we did was we didn't sit on a fence. We didn't sit back and decide, is this. We got the right information from the get-go. We had a I mean, we had a sense of
That's right.
feeling that these guys really were gonna be able to deliver.
We went with
We
our gut
trusted
feeling.
what they said.
A little bit of trust, and
So,
now,
but you guys have more, that's the point, where it's so much more developed now, and it's just 16,000 people out there that have jumped in.
The back office is.
and I mean,
It's amazing.
everybody's seen the back office here, the website, you know how everything works. I hope you all find that it looks professional. You can tell that there's people in back of this company that know what they're doing there, you know, like it looks real.
And the trades, right? Now you go to the resources, you go to the web TV. And so just so you guys understand, because not a lot of people know what MT4 is. So MT4 is a MetaTrader. It's an app that you get. That app basically, you put in some information from your broker into that app. And so when you put your trades in there, the broker's the one that's actually placing the trades. And so when you get into that MT4, you'll see broken lines. That's when you know there's an actual trade happening. Okay, the line that's going up and down, that's just the price of the pair. But when you see an actual dotted line across and it says like buy or sell and it says like 30, those are big trades. And so you can actually see when there's a buy or a sell order in place. You can see off to the left that it's a corporate account with EverFX. You can see that it's the actual number of the CashFX account. You can, below that, you can see that they actually have expert advisors. Those are the algorithms and other pieces that are plugged in that are actually reading the market. And so don't let somebody tell you, I'm a day trader and this is not real. Because it is real. We are literally watching the corporate account. So here's my little word of advice. Would you take real estate advice from a homeless person? Who here would take real estate advice from a homeless person?
Or learn how to make money from a guy who works a job.
So my question is, would you take Forex advice from a day trader who's broke? No. So when somebody tells me that they're a trader and they have extensive years of trading, I want to know, how much money did you make last year in your craft? Because if you're going to sit here and tell me that this isn't real and you're a broke day trader,
and there's a lot of
we
those
have an
guys.
issue. There's a lot.
There's a lot. You'd be surprised.
What we have is real, and soon you're going to have the ability to open up your own account with EverFX
You know
or
that?
other brokers
Everybody knows that?
and be able to show them the MT4
Hey?
on MetaTrader.
Copy
correct.
trade.
Copy.
Copy trade.
Correct.
Everybody know that?
You're going to open up your account in the back office. You're going to be able to connect it. You're going to be able to take those signals, whether you want to trade them manually and say, you know what, I don't want to take all the company's choices. I'd
You
like
wanna
to
make
look.
your own there?
Or do I want to
Or do
go
you want to do
automatic?
automatic?
When you can take out your phone and literally show somebody that the trades are there, here's the funny thing. There are still going to be people that tell you it's not real.
Yes.
They're still going to tell you that company's not placing trades. That's simply because they have an MO, and that MO is, but you should come and look at the project I'm doing over here.
It's just like if you look up any opportunity, you'll always find somebody talking bad about
Always.
your opportunity, but at the end of their video,
Yeah, here's
is
my
like,
number one income earner.
link of, so join me.
So, believe, take advantage of what we have, and watch the evolution of this company over the next 12 to 24 months. And I'm telling you right now, if you work this like a business, it's going to pay you like a multi-million
And
dollar
one
business.
thing that's awesome also, in the situation that we're all living, and you understand that, where you don't have to mention why, the times, it's kind of hardship a little bit worldwide, what we're all experiencing. And the number one thing that they're telling all these big corporations is work from home,
Let
right?
your employees work
Hey,
from home.
Work from home, hey, all the big, hey, we work from home.
It's actually a great opening
Hey, it's
for
a
you to
great
talk to your
opening,
friends
eh?
now who are
For all the
not.
people that have jobs now, you can go see them. If you would be like us, you could work from home. If ever anything happens, you still have your income a little bit, you know? So that's all. Like, I mean, there's negative, there's bad. So this situation in all sums up is, I think it's going to be okay. I know it's going to be okay, because if we were really that afraid, we would not be traveling the world. But at the same time, we have something where we can work from home. And even if somebody has a corporate job, they should still be working a little bit from home. There's nothing wrong with doing this even with your full-time job. You know, when I speak to somebody and I ask them to join and they want to join, first of all, I don't insist too much, because when you insist, like we said at the beginning, when somebody feels that you want to sell them, they don't want to join you. if you talk about what do they need, and we said that at the beginning, what would you need? Like somebody says, well, I would like to bring my spouse on vacation, maybe not Italy right away, maybe another country for right now. Okay, we'll schedule Italy right now. But usually they say Italy because Italy is a beautiful country. And, or maybe it's, I want to have a new car, or maybe it's just to retire and go, you know, whatever their dream is, I have a way to help you get that dream. Yeah, but it costs me a lot of money to start. No, you can start with as much as $300. Now, some people can start with 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. Don't be surprised. It's just that it's not like if you have to start with it. You understand? It's like the door is open.
Yeah.
You don't bring your gun with you.
That's it. You don't make it feel like they have to come in. That, hey, you know what's funny is some people, they'll come in with $300, $500, or $1,000, $2,000, and 1 week, 2 weeks after,
Upgrade.
They
They call
upgrade.
you right away. How do I upgrade? Or they signed up a couple of people and they've got some commission back there and they have enough to upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean, like John mentioned it earlier, I mean, so many people started in July and August when we picked up the phone and called them that they started with 300 and they're on the $100,000 packages. It's
okay,
crazy.
they put a little bit more of their money maybe, but it doesn't
Or
matter.
they've worked, I mean,
Or
they've built
worked-
teams,
they
they
worked-
hit
worked
the ground
big teams,
running.
yeah.
Yeah, they've got, you know, pretty decent organization under them. And they've upgraded them almost 100% with profit. It's a good deal.
We will, my recording's going to start pretty soon, and yes, it's recorded. We'll put a little video edited because we have to tie all the pieces together. And as soon as that video is ready, we'll put it in our groups. We'll send it to Bianca.
Yeah, we'll fix it
We'll
up.
fix it up so everybody can have a copy from today. We'll take some questions.
Yeah, let's do that. Any specific questions on anything that you guys want to get answered while we're here?
Because tonight's going to be a little bit more, less personal, just a little bit of an overview. We won't-
Presentation tonight.
Presentation tonight there.
But any questions that you guys just not 100% clear on?
For example, if you,
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
for example, if you want to have a 300 package, but you want to have two of them, that's not possible because you only can purchase one.
So it's one package per account,
Yeah.
which means you can only have one contract per CashFX account, and technically you should only have one account per person. So now if you have a spouse and that spouse wants to create an account, then that's your spouse
You
or
can
your
put your
son.
spouse under you or you
Correct.
under your spouse.
Now keep in mind, because of the compliance in the AML that's coming,
Your partners.
Okay.
Be- partners, because of the KYC and compliance and all of that, there's going to be a KYC requirement. That's know your client. So everybody's going to have to upload a proper government identification. They're also going to need anti-money laundering, right? Government wants to know, is the Bitcoin being sent to wallets that fund terrorism? And so all of this is part of this being a 20-year legacy company, and those pieces of technology will be developed. But that's the answer there.
So yes, instead of having two contracts of 300,
Yeah.
you can start at 300, and when you make a little bit of money, you upgrade to the 500.
I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but somewhere when you make
Hey,
it
look, it's
over
easy to
200.
understand. You make a, sorry, you make, it's not an exact science. Now, sometimes it's 1.2 a day, sometimes 1.7 a day, sometimes 2.3. But, you know, overall, we're close to 2% daily there.
about an average
It's
of
about
about
an average.
10% a week.
Well, it's easy to understand. You make 2% a day on $300 or 2% a day on $3,000, right?
So, but the percentage is the same.
Percentage is the same.
Yes,
That's it,
you just make more money.
Just make more money.
on the long term.
I hate to say it, guys, but here, size matters.
Yes.
Yeah, when you've made like 200% of profits over your account, does your account stop trading for you or something?
So once you hit a cap, yes, so you have two caps. You have a bear cap and a bull cap. So again, it took me 3 weeks to wrap my mind around how this works.
Even now.
3 weeks. So you don't think your new people will become experts. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. When you go to these big networking events and you have these top leaders collecting these $300,000 checks on stage, most of them don't know how their compensation plan works. They don't. They just know if I build a big organization, I'm going to get paid.
Yeah.
There's a bear side, which is the passive side of the business, right? And then there's the bull side. That matrix, which is such a unique piece, actually feeds into that bear side. Which means if you, Michael, never bring somebody on but you happen to, the system, which is ordering those people from left to right, drops a couple people under you, you now have a second income stream that's going to accelerate that bear capital. So although it's one contract, they work independently of each other, meaning if your bear caps at 200%, you will stop receiving trade pool payouts, but you can continue to receive team payouts. Same thing if your bull caps, you understand? But, and we have a slide that goes over this tonight.
Yeah, we'll explain.
As long as I mean, there's opportunity for you to upgrade and only pay the difference, but that's the way it works. That's the company's obligation, is to 2x one side of that
Is it
contract.
possible to upgrade without withdrawing?
No.
No,
No.
it would be.
It's illegal, first of all, because you're using companies' profits to upgrade. But that's what feeds the matrix. Both bear customer
Bear
and
and
bull team
bull, for
builders.
those who are new,
pay
and
the
I don't
fee.
know, there's nothing wrong. It took me a long time to understand bear and bull. The bear is if I just put $2,000 and the company trades. Yes.
I've been doing these systems online for about 3 years, and I've built some of them. And the company we partnered with and what they have given us is like it's built on another planet.
It's helpful
It's-
because when you go to explain it to somebody, you know, you have to find
It's
out
the
what.
hardest part
it's
is
hard.
telling the
What do
project.
you tell them? What video should I show them?
Yeah.
The
You know,
marketing.
like,
Yeah, the marketing line.
So
Did
this
you get it
way-
yet?
Yeah,
You love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You're just getting started.
yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Now-
And we're going to teach you how to use the bot, not
Yes,
just.
it's not just.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're going to go over it tonight.
If
We'll
you
go over it
renew
tonight.
the 100K, is it literally that you like paid 100K in Bitcoin?
That's right. So you can.
Yeah.
So if you let the. So I'm going to give you. This is what I tell people.
Yes, that's a lot of money.
Oh,
Why
the
did you
central-
withdraw
Yeah,
that?
but wait, we made almost 300 with our 100K, so.
Yeah.
Let me give you an
you
example.
understand?
This is how I pitch the business. I pitch it so simply. I tell somebody that I'm going to show them how to move money from here over here and get free Bitcoin Monday through Friday. That's it. That's the project in its simplest form. You're not investing anything, you're not losing anything, you're moving some money from your bank account, which is making you 2% a year, you're putting it over here and you're gonna get free Bitcoin. Now, for the $100,000 account, you buy $100,000. I don't get into all of the fees and the mathematics. I say, listen, in 6 months, your 100,000 is gonna turn into 200,000. You're gonna make about 10% net profit a month. After all the fees, that's what you make, because that's based on the 10% per week. So 10%, right? So in 6 months, your 100,000 turns into 200,000. You're going to pay a 20% fee taking that out, which leaves you 160 grand. You're going to put $60,000 in your pocket. You're going to rebuy the 100K contract.
That's if you don't share it, that's just.
That's right, because that's who we're talking to right now. And in 1 year, you're going to do that twice. Where else can you make $120,000 on 100,000 in 12 months?
So with $100,000, even if you don't talk about it to nobody, you can make $120,000.
And I always use that example, even if I know they don't have $100,000, because it's about growing their mind. I want them to think bigger than, 1,000 or 2,000, and then we get back to whatever's comfortable. I always tell them. They say, "Well, what should I start at?" I said, well, I can't make that decision. A lot of people will say 300, it's the cheapest way in. No, I say, I can't make that decision for you. I don't know your financial situation. You start when you're comfortable. Here's the link, get your account set up and let me know when you're ready. Because now you got to deal with, do they know what Bitcoin is? And we're going to have a piece in the bot that's going to give them a little education on where they can go buy Bitcoin. And so all of it. We really want to hand you guys a system so you're focused on going out and getting business. And then there's training tools and system tools and that sort of stuff.
There's a lot of in the Netherlands, but I think in many countries there's the Bitcoin fear.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, but
It's new.
that all comes with education. It's all education. And when you start having the right people in front that explain that, it takes away 80%, 90% of the fear.
Yeah.
There'll always be a little bit of fear.
But I think it's very important that we have to education.
It's education.
100%.
Education. Because
100%.
I think I'm a Bitcoin certified professional, but to bring it over,
Yeah.
it's still
Okay, let's
hard
simplify
day's
it.
work.
Let's simplify it. Me and Justin, we're here, right, in Netherlands. And how did we come here? We took the plane. We went cheapair.com and we paid with Bitcoin. We paid with Bitcoin to come here, the plane. In Canada, I want to pay my bills, telephone, Videotron, I go bills.s, it's a website. I pay my bills with Bitcoin. I want to go my app here and I send my money to my bank account, takes 30 minutes, Bitcoin. So we have ATM machine in Canada, Bitcoin. So, my God, it's like, before yes, but now, more, less and less, like.
After a year.
It's
Still
starting
though,
to be-
only 5 or 10% of the population knows what it is.
No,
I had a
that
guy
I
in a
know,
play
I
ask me, he says, you really do that Bitcoin stuff?
Is that
Felt
real?
like we were talking about a drug. I was like, all the time I do Bitcoin.
I can imagine that the proposition is for a lot of people think, oh yeah, I can make money, 2 times the contract, wow. And then I said, okay, we have to, how do I start? Okay,
You have to buy, yeah, you have to buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin. Huh? Oh, Bitcoin. Whoa.
Yeah, no, listen, we know that. That's where the education comes in, because for some people that don't know nothing about it, then it becomes hard to explain to them that you have to buy it with Bitcoin, that you get paid in Bitcoin. But what's nice is that when they make them understand that the Bitcoin, if they understand that Bitcoin was at 8 cents 9 years ago, and from 8 cents it went to $1, it came back to 30 cents, it went to $30, it came back to 10, it went to $100, it came back to 30, it went to $1,000, it came back to 300. From 300 it went to 3,000, came back to 1,000. Then 2 years ago it went to 20,000, right? 20,000, it came back to 3,000, because that's what it does, 70%. Well, we all know that it's going to 30, 40, 50,000 now. We know it, but the 80% of the population doesn't know it, right? That's your job to educate them.
Yeah.
And that's easy once they see the value in the system. Now they just have to comprehend in their mind, okay, I want in, here's what I need to do to get in.